When a dimmer is used for lights, the wattage is not reduced in the circuit. The dimmer does not dissipate the heat. The watts consumed are the same whether dimmed or at full brightness. The dimmer controls the amount of current that flows through the light, which in turn controls the brightness of the light. To understand this better, consider the relationship between voltage, current, and power, as described by Ohm's law in the power equation. Ohm's law states that voltage equals current times resistance, or volts equals amps times ohms. The power equation states that power equals voltage times current, or watts equals volts times amps. In a typical lighting circuit, the voltage supplied is constant, usually 120 volts in many residential settings. The light bulb has a fixed resistance. A dimmer works by reducing the amount of time that the voltage is applied to the light bulb during each alternating current cycle. This is often achieved using a device called a triac, which rapidly switches the current on and off. By controlling the proportion of time the current is on versus off, the dimmer effectively reduces the average voltage applied to the bulb. Since the average voltage is reduced, the current flowing through the bulb is also reduced, according to Ohm's law. However, the key point is that the power consumed by the circuit, that is, the wattage, is not simply reduced by the dimmer. Instead, the power that is not delivered to the light bulb is dissipated within the dimmer itself, typically as heat. The dimmer acts as a variable resistor, and any power dissipated in a resistor is converted to heat. Therefore, while the light bulb appears dimmer and consumes less power, the total power drawn from the circuit remains relatively constant, with the excess power being converted to heat in the dimmer. To prove this, you can use an ammeter to measure the current flowing through the light with the dimmer set to different brightness levels. You will see that the current changes with the brightness setting. When the light is at full brightness, the current will be at its maximum. As you dim the light, the current will decrease. However, if you were to measure the power consumed by the entire circuit, including the dimmer, you would find that the total wattage remains relatively consistent regardless of the brightness setting. The extra power is being dissipated as heat in the dimmer. This is why dimmers can get warm or even hot, especially when used with high wattage bulbs. It is important to note that modern dimmers are more efficient than older models. They use electronic components that minimize the amount of power wasted as heat. However, even with these improvements, some power loss is inevitable. In summary, a dimmer does not reduce the wattage in the circuit. It controls the brightness of the light by adjusting the amount of current that flows through the light bulb. The excess power is dissipated as heat in the dimmer.